All right. Jake, how are you?
It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. It's Tuesday, November 25th. Thanksgiving groceries have been shopped for. Pre-game podcast has been recorded, and it is officially hate week, and we had to bring on our correspondent, Jake Malasek. Dude, welcome back. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. If it isn't the man I hate to love but love to hate, I'm very happy to be back.
You know, I don't know if it goes like this in your group chats. I don't know if there are group chats with enough Who fans that care about football, but anytime, and it's often, a Jake Malasek tweet gets sent in, and it's, I can't stand this guy. I always have to chime in with the, gotta be honest, guys, love Jake. Jake's the man, hate him for a week, but.
Listen, and we've said it for years, you and I, where it's like, if people like me and you don't exist, what's the point? Like, we are the whole point of this thing. If nobody watches and nobody cares, the games don't matter.
100%. 100%. And I would be remiss if I didn't ask. And Ann Castle would be upset with me if I didn't ask. Ann Castle of the famous Castle Coliseum, she sent the gobbler that was opened in the Gruden box. Now, there's a lot of chirping going on about the box. I know you very strategically. I mean, we had every Virginia school box open before ours. We had the Roanoke Maroons. We had Virginia Union College. We had some schools from Virginia that I didn't even know existed. So my question, when it comes down to it, if you don't mind sharing, did you receive many boxes and they were casted aside? Did you receive our box? Did you keep it in a closet? Like, what was how did this come to be? The video was great, by the way. Awesome advertising.
To give you guys your props, I believe it was the best Virginia box that we did get in terms of the contents.
Mm-hmm.
In no world did I keep that box sitting in the back collecting dust for months and months. That was a show up. It's about 4 feet by 4 feet. Let's get this thing open. So that thing arrived, and then that week it was opened up and posted. So I don't want people. I know there was a lot of chatter about the Virginia Tech box. I was getting DM after DM after DM. Open up the goddamn box. The box arrived, and then we opened it. It was just a little late for else's.
Look, at Virginia Tech, obviously, you know, we obviously don't take as educated classes as you guys. We may not have the money you guys all have, so we couldn't overnight it. Maybe we had some trouble filling out the
snail mail. I get it. It's fine
for sure. So
got there.
Perfect place to start. And it's, what do you admire most about your rival? And I can go first. So, number one, I went over this with Pat today. Bodo's Bagels. Bodo's Bagels sets the bar for Virginia bagels. They're fantastic. Anytime I'm driving through, I got to go. I'm a New Jersey guy, so I got myself a bagel today. It runs circles around Bodo's, but it's unfair to compare a bagel from Virginia to a bagel to New Jersey, just like it's unfair for Virginia Tech fans to compare a pizza slice from Benny's to a pizza slice from Connecticut or from New Hampshire. I don't know why I said New Hampshire, New York, or New Jersey. So I'll give you Bodo's. Bodo's is great. Fantastic. What is the go-to order at Bodo's?
I am a 2-bagel type of guy. I have the same order every time I go. I go sesame bagel, chicken salad, and then I go everything bagel, bacon, egg, and cheese with provolone. And then I'll get the largest Coke they'll sell me. And that's my 2-bagel, 1-drink order at Bodo's. It runs me about like $13, which is, in today's day and age, quite the steal.
They're kind of like the Arizona iced tea.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. The inflation has not attacked Bodo's, which we love to see. So they'll be getting my money on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm beyond jealous to get to go, and I'm not going to be there.
I actually wish you would go. The offer still stands.
I bet you do.
If you decide to go, we'll make sure you have a plane ticket.
I will be as far away as possible from Scott Stadium on Saturday to try and keep the vibes as high as they can be.
The town of Charlottesville, fantastic. When I left Fairfax, Virginia, and I was considering where to go, I told Juliana, I said, "Hey, look, like Charlotte, Richmond, Charlottesville." She's like, "Okay, like I don't really have any friends in Richmond. I have plenty in Charlotte, but why are you interested in moving to Charlottesville?" And I'm just like, "Dude, the town rocks. The town's great. There's nothing negative I could say about the town of Charlottesville. Great history, great restaurants, awesome spot." And I'll run through these last ones. John Paul Jones Arena. To have an arena where you can hold concerts, great venue. I will be going. I know this isn't in JPJ, but I do have my tickets to Luke Combs at UVA.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Are you going?
I wish. I think I have a work thing that weekend, but that does sound unbelievably fun.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll tag you in all the pictures and whatnot.
I'll live through you that night.
debauchery that comes through. Jack Brown's hamburgers, fantastic. Can't believe there's not one in Blacksburg. And the last one that
you're a UVA fan right now, by the way.
I got to tell you, so I catch a lot of heat about this.
Place.
I catch a lot of heat on this, and here's where I stand. I can be objective. I want to beat you guys every single year, but if we're being honest, like, I mean, it's a great spot. I mean, 2 times we went to war with Germany. Berlin's great, beautiful spot. They make great cars. Not really much I can say other than that. So, you know, if World War III comes around, I hope we stick it to them again. Honestly, both world wars, we've kind of been like the Virginia Tech's kind of been the allies and UVA's been the axis in terms of the wins and the losses when it comes to football. But I don't mean to compare you to Germany or Imperial Japanese.
That one out.
So the last one is Boylan Heights. Good gracious. I mean, it's kind of the
spot, huh? That's the one you would go with as like.
So am I wrong? Am I making a mistake? So when I was back in college in 2019, my girlfriend at the time, her sister Amanda Seeger was like, "We're going to Boylan." I'm like, "Okay, sounds great." I mean, you guys have the Scantron menus, big screen. And I'll tell you what, I had a great time because it was the game that College Game Day was in town for the basketball game. I couldn't afford tickets. I was broke. So I took it in and watched it at the bar in a Virginia Tech shirt. We won, talked a copious amount of shit, and then left. But I had a great time. So I love Boylan. Should I be going somewhere else? Is there somewhere else?
Funny because, I mean, I'm kind of unk nowadays, so I went back for the Wake Forest game, and you know, I try and stay with the times. But when I was in school, I basically went of the big 3 to Boylan the least. So I was at outdoor spot at Coops probably half the time, and then I was at the 2nd and 3rd floor of Trinity for the other 45. And then 5% of my time was at Boylan. I like Boylan. I just never really ventured all the way down the hill on the corner.
Yeah,
but Coops and Trinity were my top spots.
I will cross those off. I'm spending the night in Charlottesville, so I'll get to Trin and I'll get to
Trin's more of a, if you're trying to have yourself an evening, you're at Trin on the 2nd and 3rd. But if you're trying to enjoy yourself, a little outdoor vibe, it's nice out. Coops patio is like top tier.
Got it. I will keep that jotted down. That's what I have for things that I admire. Now, I've probably spent more time in Charlottesville than you have spent in Blacksburg, but anything about the fan base or Virginia Tech that you do admire. I will add lastly, this is a hot take. I love Tony Bennett, and I have a very similar relationship to the Washington Nationals that won the World Series. I'm a Mets fan, and I was just like, I hate the Nationals, but I kind of love Max Scherzer. I kind of like these guys. So when they won on the external, I was like, God damn it. And when you guys won, I was pissed. I wanted that Purdue shot to go in. I wanted to see Auburn get it done. But I was like, you can't help but be fired up for an upstanding citizen like Tony Bennett and some of those guys. So
it's kind of one of those things too, where it's like you had the UMBC, and then you know, we're not a school that's like a bunch of dicks. Like, you're not rooting for Duke. You don't feel dirty rooting for Virginia. So yeah, that's fair enough. Like it's a nice group of guys that came together and did something pretty cool. So I can appreciate that as well.
The worst thing I could say about that team is Kyle Guy's haircut, and I kind of like Kyle Guy. Funny dude. Don't have a problem with him. This has been a great 8.5 minutes for you. So I have to. This has been a really good.
I'm waiting for the shoe to drop here.
So your turn. Say something nice about Virginia Tech.
So you said, I don't know how much time you spent in Blacksburg. I actually lived in Blacksburg for a summer. This is probably 2019, 2020. Definitely I don't know if it was pre or post COVID. Right around there though. I worked for the local Roanoke news station, WDBJ7.
WDBJ7, dude.
Yeah, so I was there for a summer. I lived behind one of the bars. I lived like right next to Sharky's when I was in Blacksburg. So I actually had a great time. I went to Tots a bunch. So I'll give a shout out to Tots. Had a couple rails back in the day myself.
You and John Gruden.
Yeah, had a great time at Tots. And then, I mean, obviously, I think the Virginia Tech fan base, being able to basically show up at a game like Miami, where you guys essentially are playing for nothing.
Correct.
And have an environment like you guys have is beyond impressive. And I am always jealous of the Virginia Tech fans showing up to football games, win or lose or meaningful or meaningless. I give you guys a lot of credit for that. So those are my 2 big Blacksburg positives, I would say.
So we'll go here now. The reason I love guys like you, guys like Trey are what makes a rivalry fun is the back and forth. And I really wish the participation level was higher. That's really all that I wish. And I give you guys so much credit because you've been tweeting about being a fan of and waving the UVA flag for so long. Now, the frustration point is every fan base has fair weather fans. If you win more people show up. The frustrating part is you guys quite literally, comparative to your past, cannot win more than you're winning right now.
Correct.
So what do you think is the disconnect? And I love it. Jake, you're on the ground floor. You are on the ground floor of this thing, which is crazy because it shouldn't be the ground floor. But do you have a call to action or do you have any reason or rhyme or explanation for why? And I don't even think it's the students' fault. The Hill's been great. Like, I'll give the Hill credit. The Hill's been awesome. But where is Archibald Smith, who's an 80-year-old bow tie wearing lawyer that lives in DC? Can he not get in his Tesla and drive down and enjoy the game? Like, why is this?
I will give you some. So, I mean, obviously I went there for 3 years and then I've been back and I know the vibes of Virginia. It's not a big rah-rah school, especially when it comes to outside of like that couple golden years of basketball. Like basketball was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the year we won the national championship, like everything was packed out. I had tickets. I would go. It was sick. For whatever reason, and you know, the university athletic department, administration, they're trying to do their best to get people in the door, and the games have been pretty full for what it is compared to UVA games in the past.
Yeah, it's
just not that kind of school, which is at a certain point you kind of have to roll over and say it is what it is. Like, this is kind of what it is. I am a little woke to our attendance numbers the other way, where I do think the Hill is awesome and like adds a certain element like the Florida State field rush where like you get those moments. I do think it kind of screws us on attendance because if those were seats, you can sort of actually gauge how many people were there. You can it's sold out. You got to fill up the other spots. The Hill offers up an opportunity for people to kind of walk in, hang out, and then leave.
Yep.
And you don't really know who was there and who wasn't there. So that, I think, is negative to having a spot like that. But I would hate it for seats to be able to fill up more spots.
I want this. I really do. I want Virginia Tech to be successful. And I'm being honest with this. I want UVA to be successful because, number one, I want to play the best team that we play all year, the last game of the season. I want that to mean something. It's actually, to me, less fun to have an annual just ass beating contest. Now, this year's totally different. Like, let's just be honest. You guys have a really good team. If you guys are good, it pushes us to be good. The reason that Auburn is so good is because they try to compete with Alabama. And then there are those years that Auburn comes up and they snap at Alabama. Virginia basketball program has made Virginia Tech's basketball program better because people get tired of losing by 30 or 40 points all the time. So it really, I give you so much credit for pounding that drum. Is there any other account that I can follow or other people that you want to give credit to for carrying this flag for UVA?
My guy, OG Who, has been he's been in the trenches for way longer than I have. And I mean, there are a lot of people on UVA Twitter that have been doing this for decades. So and obviously Twitter existed in 2007, but they've been pounding the UVA drum for longer than I've been alive. And I'm relatively new to it compared to a lot of people that are sort of doing this. I'm just sort of been put in a spot where I'm kind of loud and have more of a reach than some people. But there are definitely a lot of people on, like Elliot Harding does a great job. I am forgetting some names, but like Danny Nickel does a really good job.
The Zoo tweet was tough. The Zoo tweet was tough.
I don't even know if I understand what they're talking about. Can I be honest?
I don't think I do either. I don't know if he was being serious or not.
No idea what we're talking about.
So he tweeted out that he went to the Richmond Zoo the day that you guys played the Wake game. And he said at the Richmond Zoo, the Virginia apparel outranks Virginia Tech apparel 3-1. And it was just so funny.
That's okay.
It's so funny that he tweeted bragging about school pride at the Richmond Zoo the same day that y'all are playing a big game and he's not at the game. Like that. that was tough. That was tough.
Didn't see that. Is what it is. He's more of my stats guy. He's a stats guy that I appreciate the stats.
Of course. No, I for the most part, most of his content is good. It's just that's the one thing that really stands out. So that's why he's been getting chirped so much.
Oh, Eric Hobeck as well.
Okay.
Another guy that I actually am a big fan of and does a good job with UVA stuff. He's a little critical at times.
Okay.
As am I. But for the most part, fan of the program, fan of Eric's. And then Trey.
Best chirps that I have received this week. I have 3. I got one from They Made Me Change My Name. I have organ donor proudly put in my bio, and he wrote in the organ you say you donated. Was it a brain? That was good. Good chirp. Solid good. Chirp.
That is
this
good.
one. This one's from you. So mostly Virginia Tech tweeted driving around Charlotte today. I saw infinitely more VT sweatshirts than UVA sweatshirts.
So that's a reference to the Zoo tweet, which I didn't know.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Your response was good, though. It's Monday. UVA graduates are at work. Well done.
Thank you.
Done. Seriously, like people get their panties all up in a wad. We have a million ways to dunk on Virginia, and we come at Virginia for dunking on us in one way with the national championships. I appreciate the creativity. That's what we're looking for. Now, this might take the cake, and this might upset some Virginia Tech fans, but it was funny. So Trey, at the beginning of the week, Virginia opens as an 11.5-point favorite in next week's game against Virginia Tech. Dogfight inbound. For more info on the game, please Google Virginia Tech dogfight.
My favorite team maybe he's ever put out. It was unbelievable.
Trey, sometimes you're sitting down at the chess table and it's checkmate.
And that tweet's been building up for years because he's done that for every game I think any UVA sports ever played.
It's the first time I've seen it. Tremendous work.
So good.
In the words of I think it was Stanley, he did his time, but very, 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 very good tweet.
The slow play on that joke for the payoff was years in the making, and I give him a lot of credit for that.
Incredible. So here are some of my worst chirps, and this is the one that I have the most problem with. You commented on it. I know you didn't watch the video because it is long.
Sure didn't.
Rent-free sucks.
Yeah, it's the worst.
From both sides.
It's every rivalry has the same problem.
If you are concerned and it truly bothers you that your rival is thinking about you, maybe you need to rival harder.
Right.
Is what I would say. Now, there hasn't been a calendar week I've woke up and not thought about you guys. That's just the truth.
So that's interesting. So that was going to be my question.
Yes.
Was like in week 2, if you're sort of doing this on like if there's an unrelated skirmish going on between, let's say we're playing NC State and then a Virginia Tech fan chimes in, I feel like that's an appropriate time to use rent free.
So here, I'll just give you again, you mentioned week 2, which is perfect. You guys beat the snot out of Coastal week 1. And I was like, yo, UVA's got a quarterback. If their pieces gel, they're going to be in a really good spot. And then I'm like, okay, I'm on infinite hate watch to try to make sure that they don't make it to the ACC title. And you lose to NC State. And I'm like, oh, thank God they got a conference win. But it wasn't a conference.
He freaked out so much, he fucking left. He hated so hard, he left the show. Unreal. Also, for those looking at his NetJet hat, kind of ruins the whole Virginia Tech blue collar thing. So I guess we'll see if he comes back in here.
I mean, that's how angry I was.
You freaked out too hard.
That is how angry that I was in that moment.
That's unbelievable.
To get that done, and it wasn't even a conference game. I wish I was making that up. I wasn't. We're gonna just ditch the other camera. Just preposterous. So after that, I'm waiting for you guys to lose that next game. And when you lose to NC State, I'm fired up about it. Now, again, it's a rivalry. I'm always rooting against you guys in most cases. And I that is a rivalry to me, is constantly thinking about your rival. So when a Virginia Tech fan puts rent-free out, that's whack. When a Virginia fan, I'm still mad about the NC State game. When a Virginia fan puts out rent-free, it's still whack. It's got to stop. We got to draw the line somewhere.
And I want it on the record that I do think about you every week.
Of course. I would hope you.
I'm also doing it. It's my favorite day of the year every year is when you guys play Old Dominion. Like I root for Old Dominion. It's every time you guys play, I'm like, oh my God, today's the day. It's maybe my favorite day of the football calendar every single time that it happens.
Yeah, it would be mine too. It would be mine too. I actually tried to be super witty in that moment and think of a team.
I circle the calendar on VTODU day every time I see it.
No, that's fair.
My day.
That's fair. I would as well circle that. We also talked about the lack of participation. Here's the other one, and then I'll allow you to retort with some things you can't stand. So Cav person tweeted this out, and I'm trying to be objective here. His tweet: in all-time series, UVA leads VT in baseball, men's basketball, women's lacrosse, men's soccer, men's swim and dive, women's swim and dive, men's tennis, women's tennis, volleyball. While Virginia Tech has it in football, softball, wrestling.
That's 10-3.
Correct.
Pretty solid.
Correct. Correct. Now, so here's what I want to ask you. Where do we draw the line on what we care about? Are those all of equal value? All due respect.
Are those
all due respect?
Are those sanctioned NCAA athletic programs? Are those
no? But let me ask you this then. Okay, would you trade? So if they're all of equal value, you wouldn't trade.
I did not say that.
Okay, so that is what I'm saying.
Sanctioned NCAA athletic programs, which they are.
Okay, so can you rank for me? Give me your top 3. Like these are the 3 sports that I want to dominate in this order.
Oh, okay. Football.
Mm-hmm.
Easily.
Football above basketball.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like you make more money, it's more eyeballs on your school. I mean, in every facet, football is king, whether you like it or not in college sports.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can give me a national championship football team or basketball team, I pick football every single time.
Okay.
Basketball is a close second. I think it's more valuable than people kind of give it credit for.
Yep.
And then for me, the correct answer is baseball, but I'm going to say lacrosse.
Yep. Yeah.
Just because I'm a lacrosse guy and those are my guys. So like if they could be nasty every year, like that's what I would take. But I mean, the correct answer in the athletic program progression would be baseball.
Correct. So that's what I think. I think Virginia Tech gets so up for football. And I think it's frustrating if I'm a UVA fan, this is what I'm doing. I'm chirping with that, but I'm also saying like more than all of this success, I do want to beat you guys in football. Because if the roles were reversed, it's the same situation.
100%.
Yes. So, okay. Any chirps that Virginia Tech throws, and I'm going to tell you if they're preposterous or not to me. Anything that comes to mind for you?
What's annoying about the Virginia Tech-Virginia rivalry right now is like it's just you guys kind of have the dunk, which is just like we win every year.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, damn, like until we win, even if we win this year and we're okay, then it's 2 of the last 21. We did beat you this year. So then we can start saying like, hey, what have you done for me lately? 1-0 in the last one. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And so when it was 2019, when we hadn't beaten you in 17 years or whatever it was, I didn't care because it was we beat you yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's all that really mattered for me.
So I will give you my word on this, Jake. When you lose the belt. If you lose the game, now I have plenty of things to be fired up about. James Franklin, future of the program, 4-star running back commit today. Like that's great. What I'm not going to do is lose this game and then immediately talk about 2012. I'm not going to immediately talk about 2020. Now, when we get closer to the game, some of those highlights will be tweeted. Some of them will be talked about. But it is and always should be, what have you done for me lately? It's very funny because Virginia Tech has this relationship with Miami. Miami's been kicking our ass for the last 5 years. We haven't won a game in 5 years. Virginia Tech makes fun of UVA for making fun of us for not winning a title. We make fun of Miami for not winning an ACC title. It's the same thing. It's the exact same.
Which is objectively funnier, by the way.
Objectively correct. Correct. But I think that it's silly for Virginia Tech. Look, if you're a UVA fan, you got to get your shots in where you can, and that's where your shots are. So you have my word, Jake. You win the game this year. I am giving you guys all the props, and you guys got the belt for the year, and it's see you next year. Now, any other ones that come to mind before the next question here?
I mean,
the grounds thing, the first year, second year thing, that doesn't bother me too much.
It really is, because you guys really only have like one thing. And it's just like, yeah, we beat you.
That's not necessarily true. We are 500 against you in basketball in the last 10 games. You guys talk about basketball all the time. It's 5-5.
Let's open up that little history book a little farther.
We can do that.
No,
we don't want to go. Again, what have you done for me lately, Jake?
Exactly. That's my point. If you want to go record book by record book, we can go record book by record book. That's fine. I'm happy to do that.
So I asked Pat this question. I'm excited to hear what you would say. So I said the 2019 win for you guys is really the most important win in this rivalry since 2011, 2010, because we've really been just fighting for bowl games. Mm-hmm. This might be a hot take. I'm curious to see what people say about it when the preview gets out. I would trade probably up to 3 of our wins over the last decade for the win in 2019, because the 2019 win, sending you guys to the ACC championship. Look, Virginia Tech fans, nobody cares that you lost to Florida. Nobody cares that you lost to Clemson. You guys beat us. You stormed the field. You had the cup. There's a video of Bryce Perkins with the cup in some nasty frat room.
Excuse me. Who do you think filmed that video?
I know you filmed it. I was waiting for you to give yourself a patty.
Awesome. I'll say this quickly. That night was more fun than the basketball national championship. That's how
Jake, I don't doubt it.
That's how special us beating you guys was more fun than a title in basketball.
I was at the game that year, and for you guys to have over our head forever, we beat Bud Foster in his last game versus UVA. Now, granted, again, we can look at the whole history book, but that is the story ends with the UVA rivalry that way. We kept you out of the ACC championship. We haven't been relevant since that football game. That is the last most relevant football game that we played. By the way, beautiful.
We had neither until this year. So
exactly. So, by the way, that was a beautiful afternoon in Charlottesville. People get mad at me because I talk about it. I was like, dude, the weather was awesome. The crowd was awesome. It was a perfect afternoon. But I would be willing to trade 3 or 4 of those wins. Like, yes, it's hilarious that Bronco Mendenhall threw the ball to an offensive lineman. Yes, it's hilarious that we fumbled into the end zone and recovered it and won. Those were all awesome. I really don't care about beating UVA to go to the Poinsettia Bowl and finishing 7-6, or beating UVA and then losing to Cincinnati in the Military Bowl. I personally could go without it. So,
yeah.
My question is, if you could change the result of any Virginia Tech game, what is the one that you wish you could have?
I mean, if the screen pass to the lineman had worked, it's like the coolest thing to ever happen, maybe ever.
Correct.
And then I would say maybe the one in 18 where Bryce gets hit and fumbles the ball in lane.
That game was lost. That game was a loss.
Exactly. Yes. Those two come to mind like right away. I mean, I wish Calandria hadn't said what he said and then got his shit kicked in by 40.
Yeah, that was tough.
That sucked.
That was tough.
The recent ones have hurt a lot because they haven't been close.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be competitive, and also I'm a little bullshit on what you're saying about trading 3 or 4 wins. You're coming from a big place of privilege, being able to say that. I'll trade 3 or 4 of these wins for one, like, whatever, man. You know,
that's true. That's true.
No, I mean, obviously, any of these games, really, the fact that we can go in the span of the past 5, 6, 7 years and say, essentially, there are games won and lost on the last play of overtime, and also games won and lost by 40 points is like kind of bananas.
2014 was an elite game. 2015 was an elite game. 2017 was a boring game to watch, but a 10-0 football game. Like this rivalry, for having meant essentially nothing, has produced some really awesome football games. So I will say that. Your Mount Rushmore of who's?
Woo!
Here's mine. Chris Long, Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, you're saying all in?
All in.
Okay.
Edgar Allan Poe, Chris Long. Kyle Guy. I'll go with Kyle Guy. I love to hate that guy, man. He's one of the first people that come to mind. And then I'm torn between Tony Bennett and Ralph Sampson, but I'll go with Tony Bennett just because, like, Tony Bennett's like the guy in your town who dates the hottest chick, has all the money, like has every reason to be a guy that like you have some dirt on, like, oh, he's cheating on his wife. Yeah. Oh, he's got like 4 toes. Nope. Tony Bennett, impeccable.
Yep. Fast. So Mount Rushmore of who's all time in
You can do this team too. You could do this football team too if you want to take it in a different direction.
Is fascinating. I don't think I've ever been asked that question before. I think you got to put Ralph in there.
Okay.
I think you got to put Tony in there.
Okay.
My issue with the basketball team in 19 is I like to sort of combine the three guys into one unit, which you can't really do. But like without any of those three, that team doesn't win the national title. So I kind of like to lump them in. So if I can lump those three guys into one guy,
I'll let you do it.
That big three in there for sure. And then I would also put Chris Long in there. You have the famous alums. Like, I don't know if Tina Fey really moves the needle for me.
Yeah. Katie Couric.
Like, I don't know if that does it for me. And then I'm trying to think, like, Tillman Johnson, you could throw in there. You could throw, trying to think baseball wise, if anybody, like Ryan Zimmerman, you could put in there. It's just a weird, who do you leave out is really the question. And I want to hear your Virginia Tech Mount Rushmore. I'm fascinated to hear what the big four is.
So it's got to be Frank Beamer.
Okay.
It's got to be Michael Vick.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what, he was on my personal Mount Rushmore before this, and it stinks to go like football heavy because we do have some other great guys, but football drives the boat. Great guys and women, including a Miss America. Bud Foster, his story at Virginia Tech is incredible, but his story post coaching at Virginia Tech has been equally as incredible. Like his saga of being a part of this Franklin hire and bridging the gap into Coach Fuente, like he's been so selfless and he has so much legendary lore that I think he's worked himself onto this Mount Rushmore. And I've done this list a bunch of times and I've had a different answer every single time. So those are my three as of like this present moment. Another guy who's like catapulted into like, he was always a Hokie alum. We were always proud of him, but he's been more visible the last 3 or 4 years is Bruce Arians. Like, I think if you asked people if Bruce Arians went to Tech, like a person on the street, like, or a current student, they'd be like, I know Bruce Arians. Oh, he went to Tech.
Right.
So he's up there. So if I'm going Virginia Tech football, that's probably what I'm doing right now. I'm probably going Vic, probably going Beamer, probably going Foster, probably going Arians. If you asked me this tomorrow, my answer is probably different, but Frank Beamer's on the list. Like that's kind of where it's at.
And of those four, who do you kick off for James Franklin in like 3 years?
Let me just say this. I think he's going to got to win some games. He won the press conference. Like I think I think
how are the vibes? How are the vibes?
They couldn't be better.
That's what I figured.
They couldn't be better. We have operated. I'll tell you what, here's the truth. It seems like the university has only cared about beating UVA, and that standard's not high enough because, number one, your standards have gone like this, ours have gone like this, and the programs, regardless of who's won the games, in terms of how much buy-in there is, how active you've been in the portal, how much talent you've brought in, 2019 was that year where I was like, UVA's always had dudes. That team, when you go back and you look at how many NFL players were on that squad, and for you all to overcome, this is why I have so much respect for CTE, what I call him, Coach Tony Elliott, not to be confused with the head injury, is for him to pick up the pieces when Bronco Mendenhall, good football coach, totally screwed you guys, put you in an awful spot. And he put another school he put New Mexico in an awful spot after that. But for you to rebound in that manner and then for Coach to take over, deal with the tragedy that he dealt with and keep all of those players on the team, like I have so much respect for Tony Elliott. And I am glad to see, and it hasn't come at our expense yet, I'm glad to see that he has righted that ship because he did the right thing by the school and he did the right thing by those guys. And that's what I would say. But to answer your question, to bump somebody off of Mount Rushmore, look, he's won the press conference. I'm excited. I'm fired up. The school is taking stuff seriously until we talk Mount Rushmore. And there are probably some people that would put him first on Mount Rushmore right now. I think that's a little crazy. But what is your reaction to him being hired? I mean, what's your feeling?
I am so excited to see how this James Franklin saga goes because in my brain, I've had the same answer the minute he got hired. First of all, I think it's a great hire. Yeah, I think it's the best hire you possibly could have made. Of like the cycle that we're in. I think that's like an absolute A+. Like that's the guy you wanted, the guy you got, all that, whatever.
Correct.
I have said this since he was announced as the coach right after it happened. I think there's two ways that this goes. I don't think there's really any other options besides these two. I think it's either a complete and total unmitigated disaster where you think it's Penn State, you think you can get the guys at Penn State, they don't come, and then it turns out James Franklin's not that great of a coach, and it's just an absolute meltdown from day one. Or, which I think will probably be more of the case, he does a way too good of a job really quickly and is just up on out of there way sooner than you guys think he's going to leave. Those are the two scenarios that I see with James Franklin. I think B is more likely than A, but those are my two thoughts.
My only advice to Virginia Tech fans and Virginia fans is, with Virginia fans, I'm not going to preach to Virginia fans, but with Virginia Tech fans, it's a great spot. We got what we want. Like, let's just go from there. I think a lot, my state, I haven't broken down the Franklin thing as much as I want to yet, but there are a lot of people who are like, I don't see a loss in the schedule. Now that's fun, but look, he's got a culture reset that he needs to do. He needs to recruit his guys in here. He's getting every resource that he could need to be successful, but let's win some games first. We still haven't won
money. You guys are getting money.
We're getting money, brother. $229 million over the next 4 years.
I just know if that was
it's a transformational situation. And to be honest, like UVA buying in at the level that they bought it, I think that there have been some faults told about Carla Williams. Like, she has had some gaffes, but she has elevated the amount of money that's being put into the programs. And while it hasn't translated to beating Virginia Tech up until this point, it's definitely elevated your athletic department, which is the athletic director's job.
But I was the first one knocking on the door saying, get her out of here.
Exactly. As any fan should do. Your job is to push the athletic department.
For her credit, things are looking pretty good. So I'm going to back off the Carla Williams hate train for quite some time.
Before we get into the game, tailgate, what is a Jake Malasek perfect game day? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Ooh, so I actually just did this. I kind of had myself the ideal Saturday.
You look like you had a great time. I'm sorry you lost. I genuinely am.
And also, I was kind of so drunk at the game that I really didn't realize what was going on. Like, I kind of woke up on Sunday, was like, oh, Chandler Morris got hurt in the second quarter. That's crazy. Like, I was on that level on Saturday. My perfect Saturday, if I'm in Charlottesville, I wake up Saturday morning. I'm basically waking up around 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go get my bagel.
Yep.
My 2 bagels and my Coke.
Yep.
I am then going to go eat that wherever I am staying, hang out for a couple hours. I'm usually getting out of the house. If it's a 7 o'clock game, which is what Wake Forest was and which is what Virginia Tech is, I'm usually getting out of the house around noon, head to one of the bars, hang out at the bar from about 12 to 4, drink, hang out, have some food, head over to the stadium 4:30, and just face some beers outside in the parking lot, throw the football around, hang out, walk into the stadium around 6:30. I like to get a little feel for the vibes.
Sure.
Maybe half an hour before kick. I was front row of the Hill at the Wake game up until I almost pissed my pants where I went to the bathroom. And then they wouldn't let me back in because for the first time since I've been back, the Hill had like a capacity limit, which was fine with me. So I went and hung up actually in like the 300s upstairs. Watched the second half up there, and then I ended my night again, Trin 3, third floor Trinity's Irish Pub. 2 a.m, lights come on. I'm up on out of there, and I wake up with probably the worst hangover I've ever had Sunday morning. That's my ideal Saturday.
I was more sad for you than I was thrilled that they lost. I to completely honest, when UVA lost, my first text, I feel for Jake, man. I know it's tough to get there.
It also, not only that, right, where I landed at like midnight the night before, I missed my connection because there was a delay, yada, yada. It's more of the fact that I keep going and they keep losing. Yep. And it's one thing to go to a team that's 4-8 and you lose twice as much as you win. Yep. It's another thing to have a team that could possibly go 10-2 and be at half the losses. And it's the one game you went to. And everybody online thinks that you're the reason that the team lost when you were there. So that's unfortunate for me this season. Other than that, I had a great time. It was fun being back, fun seeing everybody, and I hope to be in Charlotte in 2 weekends watching the boys play for an ACC title.
We will see. As a Charlotte resident, if you're there, I will give you the spots to go to. May even join you.
I'll put this out there. If we are going to the game, I will 1,000% be there.
Okay. I hope not to see you because I hope you're not playing there. But if you are there,
I think the curse. I think it only is within the Charlottesville city limits. So I think the curse should expel outside of that.
Well, the 1 year, if you were there in 2019 that you lived in Blacksburg, you infected our town and ended up getting a win back in Charlottesville. So.
Sure.
As far as this game is concerned, UVA is winning into the ACC championship and 1 win away from achieving 10 wins for the second time in program history since 1989.
Pretty sweet.
The line is moved to Who's -9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a stat that jumped off the page to me. UVA's y'all's third down efficiency is crazy. 28.5% on third down for defense. That's 4th in the country. 49.2% on third down on offense. That is 11th in the country. What is your worry level?
Well, hearing Cam Robinson has a torn ACL and won't be playing for the rest of the season has essentially killed my mood today.
Sad to hear that, by the way.
Real bummer.
I genuinely am.
And that's appreciated.
Good player.
So that's a real devastating blow to the defense. I do think the defense will be fine. Mm-hmm. My worry in these games is always the offense. I think if Chandler Morris comes out and is just humming that thing around and we're getting guys open, and I haven't, no offense to you, I haven't watched a ton of Virginia Tech football this year.
There's not a reason to.
I watched the Miami game. I was very curious how that was going to go. You guys didn't look all that bad. Not going to lie. Wasn't terribly unimpressed with Virginia Tech, so I don't think this is going to be a walk in the park by any means, and it never is. I do think that this year, and I think you would agree, that we are by far and away the better team in pretty much every facet of the sport.
Hard to deny.
But again, you win every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said I think we've been the better team a couple times in recent memory, and it hasn't really mattered. So my worry level is always usually upper 8, 9, 10. This year it's probably hovering around like a 5, 6.
Okay.
Which is better than most years. But it's the maroon and orange come to town, and I've said this today. Georgia could come play for Virginia. We could swap the teams. Mm-hmm. Georgia puts on Virginia's jerseys. I think it's still a very, very close game just because of how the rivalry is. So that's kind of where my head's at going into Saturday.
What's your score prediction, Jake?
I think we are going to win, which is nice to say and actually believe. I say it every year. On it? Most of the time. I can't bet in Florida, which kind of rules. I saved a lot of money this year not being able to do that. But I wouldn't take the number. The number's outrageous. I think that is easily within 7, if not within 4. I would probably advise people to take Virginia Tech. I think that line's going to keep moving down and down and down. I would see it maybe closing at around 7.5 would be my guess. I thought the 11.5 open was nuts.
Crazy.
But if I was a betting man with no skin, with no fandom, and I was looking at it objectively, I would take Virginia Tech 100 times out of 100, even if they are far and away worse. But yeah, I think this is, again, a close game. I just think that we kind of have the guys to finish it at the end. And I think, eventually, I think we score more points is really what it comes down to. I am terrified of Pop Watson. What the fuck's going on?
Well, here's the thing. I think Pop should start.
I'm terrified of
him. Gonna start? I don't know.
I am. He gave me legit belt to ass last year.
He did.
Like I've never seen. So he scares the shit out of me.
I meant to say this on the preview and I didn't, so I'll say it now. I hope that Pop Watson gets a personal foul every single time that we score a touchdown, because the problem with Virginia Tech has been their juice. This offense has had no juice, no excitement. And when I look back at when we played you guys in 2023, when I look back at what we played you guys in 2024, I'm like, where is this team? Where is the team that's excited to play, fired up to be out there? And it's a shame that Virginia is the only thing that brings that out of us. So I'm hoping that we see that out of this team. It's such a weird spot. Nothing matters but this game. And nothing matters but this game for you guys, but there are truly so many stakes. Like it is an exorcism, and it took an exorcism for you all to win in 2019. So I'm fascinated by this game. I think it's going to be a fun watch. It's going to be freezing. And I have 2 last questions for you. My first one is, do you think it's appropriate for UVA fans, God forbid they win the game, to storm the field?
My rational brain says no. You're a top 20 CFP ranked team hosting a team that's 3-8. And essentially you're playing for a conference title and a shot at the playoff. Like in reality, you shouldn't storm the field. But I'm also on the flip side, my college brain, like you only get 2 of these in college. And for Virginia fans that haven't seen one of these while they're in school, or if they're, alums that have only seen 2 in the last 20 years, whatever it is, like I like the people having fun. Storming the field is fun. I had a great time storming the field when it was 2019. Like, that's a memory I'll have forever. So is it a little embarrassing if you're a 9-2, 10-win team after the game on Saturday, you win the game and you storm the field? Like, yeah, I'm sure people on Twitter are going to be like, oh, look at Virginia storming the field. They were 10-point favorites, all that. But again, like, you get to play Virginia Tech at home twice while you're a student, and you get to see them win twice since you've been alive, essentially, if you're in college there. So if they storm the field, so be it. I think it's a fun thing, and I have no qualms with it.
Trey asked me, I support it. I will be storming your field when we win on Saturday.
That's more fair. That's way more fair.
So I'm looking forward to doing that. My last question is, and I'm going to give you a platform here. Call to action. Virginia fans that are, living in the Charlottesville area, they're in DC, they're on the fence of going to the game. Like, what is your call to action? Get these folks to show up to the game. We will be there. We're there every year.
You guys are at your place. You're at our place. You're everywhere. For some reason, Virginia Tech has 300,000 graduates, and they all live within 2 hours driving of Scott Stadium. I don't understand it, but whatever. If I'm talking to the UVA fandom, especially those, and it's a fun Thanksgiving weekend, but it also kind of blows. These games are all on Thanksgiving because people are home. You may never see this again. You may never see a UVA football team on the cusp of 10 wins, on the cusp of an ACC title, on the cusp of a college football playoff berth. If you're going to go to what we all claim and what we all believe is the most important game on the schedule every year to set you up for those things, I think that you will regret it for the rest of your life. Now, I won't be there because my mom's going to kill me. Yeah. If I used to live in Charlottesville. I used to have a house 10 minutes down the road. So I used to go and I would have a great time, whatever. I live in Florida. I can't make it. And I'm not even allowed back because apparently we lose every time I'm there. So whatever. If you are able to go to the game and you don't go, I think it's one of the greater regrets that you'll have if UVA does end up winning and goes on a little bit of a run and makes the playoff. That will be sort of the jumping off point that you'll have missed by not going to this game. I don't care if it's 20 degrees and it's Thanksgiving Saturday and you're a little hungover, a little full, pants are a little tight. You should absolutely go to this game. And I 1,000% on the same side of Virginia Tech fans, like, travel. I'm a big fan of rival fans. I think every rivalry game should be 50-50. I think that basically everybody should be able to go. You should basically split the stadium and say, all right, we're going to have one side with this and one side with that. That's sort of how I view these rivalry games.
That would work. That would be better for you. I mean, that would be,
I hate that they're doing like the Georgia Tech game in Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, trash.
I hate those like concepts, right? The Virginia Tech game, I think, is so special. The stadium's pretty much full when it matters every time we play. You should go to the game because it could be the last time, and I hope it's not, but it could be the last time you see a Virginia football team doing what they're doing. So savor the moment, go to the game, enjoy yourself, and I hope to the bottom of my goddamn soul that they can figure this shit out and win the game this year.
Jake, it's always a pleasure. If you don't follow Jake, give him a follow. Twitter, Instagram, extremely, extremely entertaining. Favorite UVA fan that's out there.
I appreciate it, man.
It's tough to end this podcast because I usually say may the better team win, but we know who the better team is. So may the team that God wants to win win.
Hasn't mattered in the past.
That's right. So
may
Jake,
the team that wins win. That's really what it comes down to.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving, my man, and we'll catch up depending on how this goes. I'll probably shoot you a text. Win or loss. Win or loss.
And you know what? I'll return the favor. Win or loss.
Win or loss. You got me locked in. Take care, brother. Enjoy your Thanksgiving.
You too, man. Happy Thanksgiving.